G'day folks, Paul Sincotter from Imagism Photography here to do a quick unboxing of the BenQ SW2700PT monitor. Just received this bad boy, about to unpack it, put it through its paces, and shortly I'll be doing a bit of a review as well. So before we get to it, just do a quick measure up. Package itself is not very big, 705 wide, just under 28 inches. Tall, we got 510 mil high, but just under 20 inches. The depth, about 265 millimeters, and about 10¼ inches. So there you go. It's going to fit the boot. Certainly a little bit smaller than some of the other boxes on the market, so you'll get it in the back of the car, no worries. Okay, fold it down and just drag it out by the looks of things. So you can see there's some polystyrene foam there, just patting it all nicely. And we'll see how we go dragging this out. Bit of a vacuum. Excellent. All right. Okay, so it's packed really nicely. Big chunk of foam. Ooh. Accessory box with our BenQ SW2700PT online factory calibration report. Very exciting. The beauty of this particular monitor is it's an Adobe RGB 1998 color space monitor. Significantly bigger than the monitors that you typically find in a normal computer or standard monitor that you'd buy. So it's specifically designed for really accurate color display. It's not about fast response times, or it's not a gaming monitor or anything like that. Specifically for accurate color. So yeah, we'll keep going. We've got instruction manuals, CD-ROM. Very exciting. Woo! And it also comes with a very cool monitor cover. It's all about accurate color. So there's a nice little shade that goes around the outside of the monitor too. So see some of all the accessories are all packed in there nicely. Okay, standard IEC 3-pin power cable. We have a USB input cable. It's a USB 3 input cable as well. So USB 3 out of your computer straight into the monitor. There's an SD card reader in the actual computer, in the actual monitor itself. So that's nice to see USB 3 in there. Pretty standard these days. DVI dual link cable. So it looks like it's shielded as well. So straight out of your, if you've got a PC or a Mac Pro with a DVI link, straight into the back of the monitor through that one, as well as a display port. So display port, mini display port, it looks like it, or almost full. Yep. And we've got what's in this little box. Woo! Ooh, the fancy on-screen display controller. Okay. So this is a little dongle, plugs in via mini USB into the monitor. It's got 1, 2, 3 buttons, a toggle button as well as an OK and return button. Hopefully this will make it nice and easy to adjust all of the actual settings on the monitor without actually having to sort of push on the display and push the display around. It'll just be on the actual desk. Just got to find somewhere to put it. Another thing to sit on the desk though. Okay, put those to the side. And this looks like our monitor stand. It's got a bit of weight to it. It's a VESA mount, 100mm VESA mount. So if you're not happy with this mount itself, you can certainly whack it onto your own. If you've got dual display stands or something like that, you want to wall mount it. 100mm standard VESA mount there. It looks like it's got some nice height adjustment as well there. So just on the side, some reference numbers, so you can set it, forget it, or if somebody else comes and touches your personal computer, you can adjust it back to where you'd like it. Alright, put that down there. Okay, the base for it to sit in. Okay, so that's the actual monitor, I guess, stand base. This will connect in here, and it's a nice little spot there actually for the on-screen display by the looks of things, the display controller. And yep, it does seem to sit in there nicely, so yeah, it might not actually be in the way at all, so let's see how we go with that. Just pop that down here. See what's in that box in a minute. Fancy foam, keeps it all nice and protected. Okay, and the monitor itself, it's actually faced down. I'd say there's a fair bit of foam in there, protecting it on the front. Sure is reasonably padded. There's actually quite a bit of air in there as well, so a lot of space to keep it nice and protected. Alright. Pull it out of the foam. Woo! There we have it. The panel itself, it's an IPS panel. Ooh, fancy name for in-plane switching. Which is basically essentially a monitor which will allow you to view it from different angles. So we'll see how good that is. I'm going to be comparing it to my ASO CG series monitors. Got the 24 and the 30 inches. One of those has just died recently though, so I was actually on the market for a monitor which is far more reasonably priced, and that's certainly what this BenQ monitor is. It's a hardware lookup table monitor. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how good the colour is in this monitor, especially for its price. The price tag on this monitor is under $1,000, and that's literally half the price of some of the other competing monitors. So we'll see. Alright, we'll continue with the unboxing. So out of the actual factory, the actual monitors should have been calibrated, and this is the actual report for the calibration. Now the whole idea of calibrating a monitor is to essentially get a characteristic. Every device that displays or captures colours will do it with some sort of characteristic in the way it actually perceives and I guess denotates that colour to you. So the more we can control that, the more consistency we'll have throughout our actual colour workflow. So we'll keep that handy, we'll refer to it. But yeah, there's some standard test patch numbers and delta E records. So the monitor itself is supposed to have a delta E of under 2, which basically means the difference between the colours should actually be seen or not be seen. Woo. So here we have our shading hood. So you don't actually have too much stray light coming in on the actual monitor from the ambient lighting. This will just sort of protect it, just shade it, just like your lens hood would on your actual camera, especially if you're looking into the sun. If you've got any overhead fluorescent lights or lamps around the screen, or if you've got perhaps a desktop viewing booth next to the monitor, this just shades that light from actually spilling onto the screen and gives you a little bit more, I guess, accurate colour. So we've got the side, the top, we've got a top panel slider as well. That's the other side actually. And the central part, this looks really cool. I noticed on the pictures on the web that the actual central panel for the top of the monitor has a little hole. And yep. And this is kind of cool because when you actually stick your puck onto the screen, you're always having to move these panels out the way to try and get your actual puck into the actual monitor itself. So this looks like, yeah, just slides back, drop your puck through or your USB cable through that, and away you go. It's all felt lined, which is nice. It's not just a piece of plastic. So it's really going to absorb that light. Empty box, and the other side. So yeah, just to give you just a bit more of a close-up on that, you can see the this is the central piece with that sliding little hole for the top. So you metal on the outside, black paint or anodized, and then the black felt on the inside to really absorb that light, make sure there's no reflections within the actual monitor from the hood, and to shield it at the same time. Very exciting. Okay, this is my first unboxing, folks, so be kind. Love a good instruction manual. Okay, so the actual CD-ROM contains the Monitor XE content. So hopefully there's some stuff in there for the Mac, but most Macs don't even come with a CD-ROM drive these days. However, I have already downloaded the software from the BenQ website. It's pretty straightforward, it's on the product page. So there shouldn't be any dramas there. But it's a monitor, should essentially just plug into your Mac and away you go. Alright, quick start guide. So I have all the pieces, the monitor stand, the monitor base, the shading hood, the monitor itself, the quick start guide, the factory calibration report, the power cord, the DVI dual link cable, DisplayPort to DisplayPort Mini, USB cable, on-screen controller, and the HDMI cable is an optional accessory, so no HDMI cable in the box. Contents page. Ta-da. How to install your monitor hardware. If your monitor is an edge-to-edge monitor, please handle with care. Excessive force on the display is prohibited. Ooh, don't do it. Okay. So to install the stand, we have to flip the monitor over and attach the VESA mount, like so. Now we've got some plastic on here, I might just peel that off, just to stop it from getting scratched. Lovely little piano back, black, rubbish. Okay, this actually looks pretty cool. So we've just got the two slots there, and I'll just take this off as well. Okay, so we've got two pins at the top, and there's actually a button on the back of the actual monitor as well. So it's a nice quick release VESA mount. Place in there, and it should just click in, and it does. That's pretty easy. Nice. Put some more plastic on the inside of this cable management ring on the back, which is also a handy little feature. It's all about the cables. Okay, so now we attach this little guy, which has a Phillips head captive screw here with a thumbnail knob. Ooh, how exciting. This is actually for the SW2700 and the SW2700. So both of the actual photographer series monitors. There's a 24-inch monitor in the same sort of I guess spec from BenQ. So if you've already got the 24-inch monitor and you're looking to upgrade to the 27-inch, your bezels are going to be the same. Bezel, whatever you like to call it. Alright, so that's kind of cool. So it just basically locks in, and once locked we should just screw. Lock and screw, or lock and load. Turn it all the way. It's got a, I believe it's up to 35 degrees twist in either direction, and that's probably about right. So that's kind of cool. Alright, so our stand is attached, looks nice and secure. So let's flip it up. Okay. Probably want to see the hood. It's not a photographer's monitor without a hood. Got to have a hood. Make it look fancy. Let's have a quick look at that. That looks pretty schmick. Okay. So again, felt lined on the actual hood panels, on the sides as well as the top. Sides are probably just as important, in fact probably more important with the actual felt paneling. You always get reflections and light coming, stray light coming in from LEDs and bits and pieces on the side. There's also some little pieces of rubber here, so they just sit on the actual monitor nice and firmly. And there's some little locks here on the side of the actual monitor too. I'll just spin that around so you can just see. Little lock here, lock here. Two pieces of felt across the top as well. So it looks like it's going to be a nice snug connection. Okay, nice snug lock there once you get it on. User error. Actually, before I put this side on, I might just have a quick look at the ports on the side. We've got an SD card slot, which is kind of cool. As I mentioned earlier, there's a USB 3 connection that you actually put into the actual base at the back here, and we've got two USB downs, well, I guess bidirectional, on the side here. That'll come in very handy for when we're actually calibrating the monitor using a puck or a spectrophotometer or a colorimeter. And yeah, SD card in there with USB 3, so it should be nice fast downloading. Probably already got that on the side of your MacBook Pro or possibly even on your iMac. I'm actually using this with a Mac Pro which doesn't have an SD card reader built into it. Use a separate one. So maybe one extra USB device which I don't need plugged in anymore because it's basically built into the actual monitor now. Quite handy. Okay, so that actually clicks in nice and easily. We've got a little hole as well just in the side there, just for that monitor hood. So nice easy access to the USB. Nice. Okay. So just a little bit of pressure onto the side of that and then click it forward and that just sits on. And again for the other side, there's a couple of little grooves there, just come back a little bit, push it in and then lock it forward and that just sits on the actual top of the monitor. Ooh. Lower. Okay. More tape, more packaging, and last but not least, our final piece, the piece de resistance. Okay. So that panel slides forward. Put put it on the front first, hook it in. Yep, that's hooked in. And then slot down. Nice. Open hole at the top. Great. Now I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if the light's there, but when I pull that back, if any light's actually coming through that hole, whether or not you can actually see that. And that just might give you a bit of an indication as to how well an actual monitor hood works. Look, it's not as deep as, say, perhaps maybe maybe some of the monitor hoods from ISO. But look, it seems to be doing the trick. We'll have a look, see what happens in the reviews. Now, beautiful thing is it does have the ability to go full 90 degrees, but by the looks of things, the actual hood itself certainly doesn't have the ability to be converted to the vertical position. The benefit of this monitor is, without doubt, its price, and I think at this particular price point of under $1,000, you could quite easily have two of these sitting on your actual workstation bench, in lieu of, say, a couple of other more expensive branded monitors. So having a vertical monitor could be quite handy, especially if majority of your work is actually done in portrait orientation for your camera. Having that portrait orientated monitor can be a very effective use of space. Rightio, so yeah, the portrait orientation is terrific, but of course we also have the way the monitor is designed to be used, just like so here. Now the actual monitor itself, it looks like it has a range of about 130 centimeters from this height from the desk up to there, and of course that rotation, as you saw, full 90 degrees, as well as a bit of a twist, 35 degrees each way. The on-screen display controller, it's this little dongle here, looks like a lovely little mouse or a volume controller. A few little buttons there, directional as well as 1, 2, 3, 4 for the different modes. You can switch between the actual color spaces, which might be handy if you want to switch between boring spreadsheets or databases through to your fantastic, brilliant imagery work. So that just connects with a mini USB just on the back there. Sits nicely in the base here, and I'll just spin that around one more time. Actually, just a bit of a pitch as well, so you can angle that, which will come in handy as well for when you're putting the puck on the actual monitor. So your mini USB just on the back here. So there are some buttons if you decide not to actually use the on-screen display controller at the base. There are some buttons just down here on the base of the actual monitor, but certainly that makes life nice and easy. So every time you push these buttons, monitors tend to move around, they wobble, so it's handy to be able to actually just press those buttons down. So yeah, just on that pitch, so you can tilt it down a little bit if you've got any reflection issues, and also tilt it up, which is handy when you actually have your color emitters, spectrophotometers just on the actual screen there. The actual cables that come with the actual monitor, we went through those before. There's your USB 3, it's 175 centimeters. I know that because that's how tall I am. 175 centimeters long. And I may have measured them while the camera was off. The DVI dual link shielded cable, 175 centimeters long, that's included. The mini display, the display port cable, 175 centimeters long, as you can see just there as well. And the IEC 3-pin cable, which is just there with the Australian connection, is also 175 centimeters long. I would dare say the other connections for the other countries would be similar sort of size. The monitor itself is a multi-voltage monitor, so I believe it's rated from 90 right through to 240 volts, so that's built into the monitor itself. Ready to travel. Okay, so included with the monitor also is the actual warranty card. This is for the Australian BenQ warranty, and also our Palette Master element installation. So, and this essentially has the links for the downloads for the Palette Master, which is the screen hardware calibration software interface. Palette Master goes on your computer, talks to the actual device, the monitor itself, the lookup tables in the actual monitor, and your colorimeter or your spectrophotometer will basically give that information back to Palette Master to give you an accurate representation on your actual screen, so you know exactly what you're seeing. So yeah, that's basically the monitor itself. The BenQ, 27 inches of monitor, nice size, 2560 by 1440 pixels, so plenty of resolution, plenty of space for all your palettes in Lightroom and Photoshop, InDesign, what have you. The monitor, I think it looks quite nice. I think the monitor itself looks quite nice. It's quite pretty, and at this particular price you have 2, maybe even 3 sitting on the workstation bench without too much of a hit on the actual bank account. Pretty much for the same price as you may get a competitor's monitor for. So yeah, looking forward to see just exactly how colour accurate the actual monitor is. So folks, I hope you've enjoyed that. This is, as I said, it's my first unboxing. Please be kind, thumbs up. I hope I haven't taken too much of your time. If you've watched through to this part, then I don't know what's wrong with you. It's just a monitor. Go and take photographs and maybe see them more accurately on this monitor if you want. Up to you. Enjoy folks, thanks for watching. Okay, so folks, I've just got the 13-inch MacBook Pro here. I'm just going to connect it up to the display. I've got the display port, so if you're using an iMac or a MacBook, it's pretty simple to connect. Just whack it in the side here, your Thunderbolt port, and there is a power button just there. We'll switch that on, little light on down the bottom. Wait for it to fire up. I'll just log in. And look, there it is, bang. So if you want to connect up an iMac or a MacBook, anything with a Thunderbolt DisplayPort, mini DisplayPort, pretty straightforward. I haven't actually done any calibrations at this stage. We just plugged it in, of course, just making sure it's all working. Pixels are looking great. Doesn't appear to be any dead pixels on the screen. One of the first things you want to look out for when you get a screen. I just want to show the on-screen display controller. It's actually pretty nice. Let's have a look. Let's just click through. We've got our button 1, and that gives us Adobe RGB color space. Button 2 gives us the sRGB color space. And 3 gives us this dinky die black and white mode. I'm not quite sure when you're going to use that, but look, it's there. So nice and fancy. And of course the menu itself, very easy to actually access. So press the menu button and then scroll across with the jog button, and a simple OK in the middle there as well. So so yeah, hit that and the screen menu comes up, and pretty simple to scroll through, which is actually a good opportunity to see the screens. You can see me waving here in the reflection of the screen. I've got the Retina display, which is in fact a glossy screen, and you can probably see the reflection in that a lot better than say the reflection of the BenQ monitor. And that's probably one of the key features. The lovely displays that you get on the Macs these days are very pretty. They're glossy, they're sharp, they're black, and they're very bright. But realistically, the last thing we want to actually see whilst we're editing our images is the reflections that we're actually seeing. Now I've got a light here, a halogen light going with 250 watts in an umbrella facing directly onto me. So that's the actual reflection that you're seeing. So you can expect to see a reflection in a typical workstation environment. that's the last thing you're going to do. You can have it nice and dark as much as possible to minimize any reflections. But of course, you're always going to get a level of reflection, especially if you have a glossy screen. Just see a small difference in this grayscale here from white to black. It's slightly smoother on this BenQ monitor as opposed to the MacBook Pro monitor. And down the bottom here, this difference here, you can actually very clearly see the 3 black squares within this black rectangle and the 3 lighter grey squares within this white rectangle. On the MacBook Pro monitor, they're barely visible. Now, I will say that nothing has been calibrated on either of these monitors, but straight out of the can, there is in fact a visible difference between the MacBook Pro monitor and the actual BenQ photographer's monitor. Now that is really critical. Essentially, they are your highlights and your shadow details. So when you're editing, if you can't actually see the shadow details being represented to you accurately on your monitor, what are you editing exactly? This is essentially where you're going to get every nuance out of your highlight and out of your shadow that you need to before you actually go to the print stage.